Hi everyone. So anyway, I'm here at the park. So as you all can tell, behind is really sunny, and so it's actually it's very sunny and very hot. So I'm going to be making this video, and then I'm going to just get back home, get ready to go to work and everything. So today I'm going to talk a little bit more about something that is concerning a particular trait that I think makes us very vulnerable, and it's not just vulnerable to narcissistic manipulation, but just generally toxic people. The whole idea that this whole idea came to my mind when I was thinking about some stuff. Like my one friend used to tell me, I think many years ago, like about 8 years. I think was it 8 years ago? Yeah, 8 years ago. Yeah, when I was in that the narcissistic situationship, and I mean, most people wonder what the word situationship means. Let's just say situation. Okay. She asked me, why is it you allow these people to be even in your life? I mean, or is it because you don't really love yourself enough, and something like that? But I mean, I think that's a kind of like it's a very odd thing to say. I mean, from my point of view now, because she's my friend after all. But the way she said that back then was, I guess she's saying out of concern that we have to sort of cut it off with whoever is narcissistic and abusive, and or even just being very toxic in our lives. But I think that a lot of the times why we refuse to actually cut them off is because of this whole thing about not being seen nor heard. Okay, yeah, I'll have to say, because it might trigger some people, and some people will say, oh, you know what, you're gaslighting us, you're scapegoating us. It's not so much scapegoating as much as that I think that being aware of it makes us less prone to actually giving away our self-worth, our sense of self-worth. So basically it's outsourcing. Outsourcing is one thing. When like this, let's just say that let's use this analogy. When a company wants to actually look for talented people in a certain field who can do the job, they could potentially get people who are talented, who are qualified from either within a company or within the country itself. But in some cases, they some companies are pretty bad in that, like biased in the sense that they think that, oh, you know what, as long as it's someone from overseas, it'll be better than someone here. Or if not, maybe we can just employ someone with the same qualifications or similar qualifications from overseas because they're cheaper to employ. That's the opposite of overpaying them more than the people from the country, so from within the country. So it's the same thing with us. Why are we outsourcing? We tend to outsource that sense of self-worth from someone else. And when someone says good, instead of finding it within ourselves. So this is the problem with a lot of us. We outsource our sense of self-worth and our sense of happiness, and the thing is, even when it comes to being seen or being heard, we don't hear and see ourselves. We actually in fact think that someone else will actually do it for us. Okay, so I think this is kind of like it's a double bind in itself, because it's like either way, if you do that, you're screwed. If you don't do that, you're also screwed because you don't feel happy. You think that someone else is meant to, it's the whole thing about, I was telling some people here many months ago, I think last year or the year before last. Last year. The whole thing about soulmates. Soulmates don't exist, okay? Or you can create a soulmate, as in not soulmate, create someone, or you can actually sort of like create a relationship that actually makes the person understand you better, work towards understanding you better. There's no real person who is so-called born to understand you. It doesn't work that way, because it's thing with work as well. Money doesn't come in just because you sit there. You have to go out and get that money. So sometimes you might have to end up doing certain things like getting to a job that you don't like first before you get to the job you want to do. Okay, it's the same thing with relationships. And it's a sad thing to say, but it's true, because I think I used to think like, oh no, why should I have gone through that, and with these narcissistic people in my life. But then I realized that, when you know what you really don't want, when you experience that, you realize this is maybe not what I really want, and why should I even outsource my happiness to some other people? Then you realize, okay, this is what I want now. And this is one thing that I think a counselor told me for many years ago. She said, I noticed that you said you don't want this, you don't want this, you don't want this, you don't want this. She was talking about life choices, and she didn't just mean things like your other half or whatever, but she also meant like things like life choices. I don't want to do this, I don't do that. Then the question is, if you don't want to do this, what then do you want to do, and what do you really want from there? Okay, it applies not just to a relationship, the people you want, the friends you want, and it also applies to things like your jobs you want, things like that. And in the end of it, I kind of realized, a lot of us are trying very hard to outsource people. You want to be seen and heard by other people. That's why we try so hard to please them, but it's a very people-pleasing thing. But the people-pleasing aside, the thing is this: when you have someone who's a so-called narcissist or narcissistic or even toxic, just someone within that kind of spectrum, because it's a spectrum, yeah. They at first they don't see you or hear you. Okay, that's a fact. They don't see or hear anyone. Okay, that's a fact. And then when you try to actually dumb yourself down, or to actually become someone whom you really are not, that means you become inauthentic. When you become someone whom you're not, they don't even respect you even more. In fact, they despise you even more, and they might even be worse in their treatment of you. Okay, so yeah, it compounds the problem, makes it worse, but it's a kind of vicious cycle that keeps on going around. We go into that whole thing of, we call it the feedback loop. Yeah, LOOP. And a lot of us fall for that kind of thing. We don't realize that actually the whole thing, as I said, everything comes from within. I'm not making it sound so simple. It's not very simple, because a lot of us are still not able to process that. But you realize that actually at the end of it all, if we could have come around to the idea that we are the ones who need to just find within, okay, then we wouldn't be prey to so many of these narcissists. And not just that, we won't even be actually engaging in any kind of relationship or any kind of let's just say social contract with someone, like let's say like a church or organization which has values that really or beliefs that differ so differently from ours. So yeah, we don't need to outsource all this, and ultimately it's something that we have to come around to. And I just kind of realized this because the whole thing is this. Okay, being an English major, there's a particular television movie. What's the name of that movie? Easy A. Yeah, that's like a high school movie and a high school theme, a background movie with Emma Stone as the the high school student who's not seen and who's not heard. And it's kind of funny because it begins with her making a video in front of the camera, and actually not just camera, it's the computer camera, the laptop camera. So she was trying to explain herself, her situation as to what people say about her, okay, the smear campaign, the rumors that are going on, and how true or untrue they are. And of course, most of them are not true because she was the victim of a very vicious smear campaign and based on people. And the thing was this: she actually had this thing about that she said at the end of it, how bad does it feel? It really sucks not to be seen and not to be heard. But that is a major aspect of us. When we go through this, we think that, oh no, we just don't get seen or heard, and then we end up thinking, what is what's the point of all this? Yeah, and the funny thing was this. Okay, with the plot of Easy A, it's kind of funny because everything was actually occurring in the backdrop of an English class, and the Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Yeah, that novel about a woman who was forced to wear a red A on her chest. Okay, I mean not on her physical chest, but on her clothes. Yeah, she's forced to embroider a red A onto her clothing. to represent the affair, okay, that she was having with a minister, a Christian minister. And it was like it was a very puritanical community. So there was a kind of mirror or parallel to that, what was happening with that student, okay, Ollie Pendergast, because I'm being a high school student, she was forced to actually everyone was like trying to lose their virginity. Even her gay friend, okay, was trying to so-called fake lose his virginity by pretending to be in bed with her. And of course the thing was this. It turns out that everything was fake. Obviously, it wasn't true. It was like at a party, and then they got into the room, they covered up the keyhole, they were faking noises, all the moaning and all. Everything was like it's fake. Okay, but ever since that it went viral. This was way before the internet era, when when social media things spread. I mean, it was actually not really at the end before. It was actually right at the beginning. So what happened was that after that, the news got out. She was being smeared in her name as well, and her classmates, including the fundamentalist Christian ones, such as one of them who's actually in the evangelical Christian group, says that maybe you should embroider a red A on your wardrobe. I was like, oh no. Then she retorts back at her and said, maybe you should get a new wardrobe, you twat. Yeah, that was what she told that girl, and getting her into trouble in English class. But of course, the whole movie was about Ollie Pendergast, that girl who was being a high school girl, who had everyone turning against her in a smear campaign, including her best friend, who thought she was really that so-called easy girl who actually goes around. Okay, it turns out that they were all wrong, and of course there was a little bit of embedded jokes about things like the English teacher, the resident English literature teacher, or in class, who was trying to tell her, you need to learn how to speak up for yourself, and just don't take so much of all these people's remarks into consideration, and but you're a good English student. And I was like, well, that kind of like sounds a little bit like the female version of me. Why did she outsource it? And then she was supposed to, she really liked that guy in the resident it's a football team, and something like that. No, not the football team, one of the cheerleaders. But it turns out that obviously because of the rumor, everyone was like and was thinking things about her, but except for him. Very ironically, he was the right guy for her, because she was really in love with him, and he really accepted for her who she was, regardless of all those rumors. So it kind of makes me realize, the thing about being seen and being heard. Ultimately, the thing is this: those who can't see or hear you, even if you change yourselves for them, they're not going to like change to see and hear you. That's just the way it is. And then those who really can accept you for who you are, I mean, those who are so-called tribe, the real group of people who will be around you. Let's just say that even if you don't feel seen or heard, they're actually always there. Maybe you just don't really see them. We don't really know, or we choose not to be aware of them. Okay? And I kind of realized this, especially a lot of people were telling me, especially that was actually right after the end of that narcissistic situationship or relationship. So that was 8 years ago. My close friends were giving me advice, telling me things about, if you had stayed on, you would have lost your self-esteem anyway. So, and you really were losing it anyway. So at the point, but that's it. The thing is, those friends were telling me about it who were actually aware, but whose advice fell on my deaf ears. Okay, I kind of realized they were the ones who actually really were there, seeing me and hearing me all the time. It's just that I was not actually paying attention to them. I was not aware, okay? And that made me change. I mean, that made me kind of change. And I see that actually now, as I, go on, as I go in life, I'm getting older and wiser. I don't think I'm getting better. I can see a lot more white hairs now. Thankfully, I'm not losing hair yet. As in, I went to see a doctor about it. So he gave me some medication and everything. And I still see a few more wrinkles and dry lines and everything, and if I don't sleep well, it makes it even worse. But that's it. It's like, I can see and hear myself And even if I don't know about it, I mean, even if I don't acknowledge it, there's still God. I mean, God sees and hears me, and it makes a lot of difference. And now that I even come to think about it, my family, my my family is very healthy generally, except I don't know, my dad is a bit hard to get into, but otherwise the rest they're okay. And then I still have my friends those few friends who are around when I was in that kind of abuse situation. So yeah, I mean, we are all seen and heard to some extent, whether we want to admit it or not. Maybe we're just not aware of it. Okay, so I hope this will actually make us change our perspective. Don't go and outsource your so-called self-esteem, your sense of worth, who you are from someone else. It's not really worth it. And ultimately, I mean, of course, all of us want to be acknowledged, want to be validated, and it's a very normal and healthy thing. But to try to put it exclusively in someone else is not good. Okay. So anyway, I'm off now. So I hope everyone has a good day. And yeah. So and yeah, I'll come back again when there's something about this that I can sort of like tie back in with this whole thing, because I was thinking about the different life phases that I was going through. And yeah, I'll catch up with everyone later on again. Okay, have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.